Hello, this is Anna, the Pretty Shepherd, and today it is a very hot summer day. And that is why I figured I would come to you with a very seasonal and topical video, which is how to easily and lazily decorate your straw hat. That's right, we are all very busy people with very little time to spare, yet we sometimes want to look cute, stylish, and protect ourselves from the horrific UV radiations that the sun is blasting us with lately. And that's where straw hats come into the picture. Straw hats come into the picture. So originally I wanted to make a video about how to traditionally and very time-consumingly decorate a straw hat. But then I didn't have the time to do it, and then it hit me. If I have a super busy schedule and can't find the time to do like a big craft project, then there must be at least a couple of you watching right now who are just as busy as me and can't really find big blocks of time throughout their days. Don't destroy the straw hat. Don't destroy it, okay? I know it's very nice to play with, but we're not going to. We're using it for crafts. Okay. Yeah. Cool. And yet another really awesome thing about straw hats is that this is the pretty much only type of large hat that you can wear in our 21st century society without being looked at in a weird way. Because you're protecting yourself from the sun, you know, like it's practical. And if you happen to be the kind of person who finds it difficult to gather their courage and wear something more unusual on the streets, a straw hat is a great place to start with. You can do like a little bit of history bounding, or you know, just like a speck of cottagecore in your day-to-day life. Random strangers on the street or friends and family who other times might find issue with your unusual way of dressing won't really be able to make a case against a straw hat because you're protecting yourself from the sun. It's practical. It's there for a reason. I'm going to show you two hats that I've been wearing most often in these recent extra hot summer days. The first one is going to be literally the easiest thing that you can do to dress up a straw hat. And the second one is going to be a teeny tiny bit more complicated, more polished perhaps, but it's still on the 5-minute crafts side of things. So this is the first hat that I'm going to work on. It's a traditional type of straw hat that was made in the village of SUBTITLES. All of my straw hats are from there, actually. All you need for it is a piece of embroidered ribbon. This one is not the best sort that you can get because it has those weird burnt edges that are going to catch into everything, like it even catches into itself. But I don't really care because the colors are gorgeous and I love it, so I'm using it. Now all we're going to do is take this ribbon and tie it around the crown of the hat. This particular hat has a bit of a damaged seam over here, so I'm going to make sure and cover that up with the ribbon. I have the middle of my ribbon. I'm going to put that around the crown like so. So I'm going to take 2 of these extra large pins and I'm just going to pin the ribbon on the 2 sides so that I can tie a bow and make sure that the ribbon doesn't move around. And as you can see, my ribbon is actually taller than the crown of the hat. It doesn't matter. And now I'm going to tie a bow. We're going to make the loops of the bow and we're going to make sure to use the nice colorful part of the ribbon and not the wrong side of it. So you can fiddle around with the ears of the bow just to get them as long or as short as you want them to be. I'm going to check if the tails of the bow are mostly equal. Well, they're not perfect, but I'm not going to bother with that. It's kind of sort of okay. Now, since the ribbon is already tied around the crown, we can actually remove these pins and it's not going to go anywhere unless you like pull it off, which why would you do that? And just because I want the tails of the ribbon to sit at an angle, we are going to take 2 little pins and I'm just going to pin the ribbon to the hat. This is also the right time to make sure that the end of the ribbon is covering up that little defect. And there we have it! Our hat with the ribbons is complete. I don't know what that was. And now for the second hat, I'm going to use another traditional straw hat. I'm going to decorate it with this ribbon that I got from a thrift store that I hand beaded. Yeah, I have some lovely footage from a very, very dark train ride when I was doing this. I thought I would turn it into a video in and of itself, but yeah, things change, plans change. That's life for you. Oh, I'm going to share a little secret with you. Not really a secret, but it's a quick tip for straw hats. You can see how over here there is a triangle and it starts out from there and it spirals down outward. Yeah, well, the triangle points in this direction. That is the back of the hat. And you can double check this by checking where the straw ends. So when you put it on, the arrow is pointing backwards and the end of the straw is at your left side. Now that we have that out of the way, we are going to add the ribbon onto it. So I'm going to find the middle of this ribbon, add it to the middle front, bring it around. We're gonna put a pin in it, just as we did before. And instead of tying this into a bow, we're going to do something different. So first of all, when you look at this hat, you can see that the ribbon is a lot closer to the width of the actual crown. My original thought was that I wanted to hand stitch this to the crown itself, but then I realized I don't have time for that. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take a few more of these pins and I'm going to add it to the ribbon. You can kind of feel when your pin is going through straw because there's a lot more resistance than when it's just going through the air or through the ribbon itself. So I really don't want the end of the pin to come through the ribbon because that way it's kind of ugly and obvious. And I also don't want the end of the pin to go into the crown. So you can actually double check the inside of the hat to make sure that none of the pins are sticking out. There's a pin over here, but the end is hidden inside of the straw braid. I'm also going to replace these 2 big pins with 2 smaller green ones. If you find a nice color of pin that goes well with your ribbon, it's just going to look like you have little beads. People aren't going to notice. And now for the end of the ribbon, I'm going to create a bow without really tying a bow. I only have like 2 more of these bejeweled bouquets. All the rest are plain ones. I'm going to fold these 2 in half, cross them on top of each other, and I'm going to use a bit of needle and thread to stitch the bow to the hat. This may not be the most elegant way to do it, but it works. So I'm just going to take the very same needle and thread that I've used before and I'm just going to stitch it to the hat. After I finished stitching down the ribbon, I am just going to arrange these tails and I'm going to add another line of stitching down the middle to catch kind of both of them at the same time. And here we have it! The second one is also ready. It didn't take very long. I mean, the stitching in the back, but if you are short on time, you can definitely just add 2 pins as we did with the previous one. The important thing, however, is that your hat is ready to wear. Excuse me, but what if you live in like a very windy climate, or if you work out a lot, or if you have like a super duper active lifestyle, then the hat just keeps on falling off of your head and you can't very well wear a straw hat then, now can you? Oh, fear not. I have a solution for that as well. Hat pins. That's right. This is how women through various historical eras kept their veils and hats in place. They just pinned it to their hair. Warning! Don't ever attempt to pin anything to your scalp. Be super careful if you're using a pin to secure your hat. You only want to pin into your hair and not your scalp, not your head, not your skin. Please don't hurt yourself. This is the end of the warning. Also, fear not if you don't have the very long vintage hat pins. You can actually get these extra large pins at flower shops or craft stores, and you can definitely pin your hat with these guys as well. It's a little bit more tricky, it takes a little bit more practice, but it's definitely doable. So even though I bet there's a myriad of ways to do this, I'm going to show you how I usually pin my own hats. Oh, and the hairstyle that I'm using for fixing this hat onto is just my go-to everyday hairstyle. I'll link it over here. I prefer my hat to be at a slight angle, so I'm going to adjust that. I'll make sure that the ribbons are going down in the middle, in the same line as my neck. And now I'm going to take one of my pins. I'm going to start by pinning over here. This just went through my hair braid. Make sure that you don't actually pin into your scalp. I wouldn't want anyone to get hurt over this. And then I'm going to take one more pin and I'm going to pin the crown to my braid. Nice and secure. I can move my head around. I can do a lot of really active things. The wind can blow and it's not going to come off of my head. And that's it. These are my secrets of decorating and wearing a straw hat. So first of all, you really don't need a lot of time to make sure that your hat looks unique. And second of all, yes, you can wear your hat even on a windy day. You can wear your hat even while biking or, you know, doing any sort of activity that would knock it off of your head. With the help of these hat pins, it's going to be secure and it won't be blown away or lost. If this video has inspired you to rock a straw hat and you decide to share it over on Instagram, then do make sure to tag me. And if you are that person who I've already mentioned before, you know, the person who is a little bit afraid to try out something unusual with their outfit, and I really hope I've made wearing a straw hat a little bit more accessible to you. If you enjoy videos inspired by vintage, folkloric, historical and cottagecore-y things, then do subscribe to my channel because that's basically what my videos are all about. Thank you so much for watching, have a great day, have fun, and bye bye!